and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. Apologies for earlier, I was having some audio difficulties, so hopefully you can hear me now. If not, just please ping me a message and I will try and resolve the issue as before. But back to the football, it's been a very eventful match week 33. Couple of surprising results regarding the top four race. A pretty routine victories for the two sort of leading teams that are going for the title right now. So let's begin with our match review of the Premier League match week 34. So let's start with Liverpool versus Manchester United. So in terms of the game itself, I have to be brutally honest, it was pretty easy work for Liverpool, light work. One-sided affair, in my opinion. I don't think Manchester United really challenged us, if I'm brutally honest. Probably one of the worst performances I've seen from Manchester United, especially this fixture, as it's the one that I'm sure United fans, Liverpool fans will agree. It's the one we look forward to whenever the Premier League fixtures come out. So on aggregate, it's 9-0, which is probably not happened before, or it hasn't happened in recent time anyway. So yeah, it's a deflating one for Manchester United and their fans. But the game itself, Liverpool in fantastic form, especially in the first half. I think second half we kind of put the foot off the pedal, which is expected, as we don't need to use all our energy and effort onto beating United. We beat them in emphatic fashion, which was a 4-0 victory. Goals coming from Diaz, Mane and Salah. So the front three producing fantastic moments right now. Mane has scored as many goals as the so-called legend Ryan Giggs, but with 374 games fewer. So make of what you want with that record there, but it shows volumes in terms of how effective our wide players have been in recent years, and it's beaten someone that's regarded as the Premier League great. So yeah, just a little stat for you guys there. But speaking of Mane, I thought he was fantastic in this fixture, playing as a number 9, and I feel like this role suits him perfectly. Some may say that when he plays in the left wing, he's lacking that sort of athleticism or spark in his runs or his dribbles against the fullback, which, arguably might be the case. But I feel like this role where he's playing more centrally suits him perfectly. One thing I've been critical of Jota when he plays that role is I haven't been impressed with his link-up play. But Mane was superb in this game in particular. The assist for Salah was fantastic, and was pretty much like a no-look pass. It was beautifully executed, and I feel like this role suits him perfectly at this stage of his career. So, me personally, I think he'd be our first choice number 9 going forward. I think he fits the role perfectly. He can also interchange with Salah or Diaz or whoever's starting on either flank. So it's looking good for Mane, and he's getting into good goal-scoring form right now as well, which is fantastic to see. One player that stood out, well, for me especially, but I think the whole world saw his quality in his fixture, was Thiago Alcantara. What a sensational performance from him. Pretty much ran the show, made it look easy, but he's that sort of player in my opinion. He makes the game look so effortless. And during this game as well, I feel like he was fantastic, and he just pretty much toyed the United midfield. I would say he wasn't the United's strongest midfield, but even if it was, I think Thiago would have done the same thing regardless. So fantastic to see him performing. He's had a great few months, and long may that form continue. And I feel like it's definitely given us that sort of that balance we needed in midfield, but at the same time, the spark we need to kind of beat the low block teams as well. So yeah, he's been fantastic as always. And another point I have to make is Salah. So obviously Salah hasn't been in great scoring form. I think in open play, the last time he scored was in February, which is pointed out to the media a lot in recent weeks. In terms of other podcasters and YouTubers that I've come across, people call him a system player. Like, they need to stop making ridiculous comments like that. It's just to justify. It doesn't justify anything, but I think they're just saying that because they can't admit how great Salah has been. He's not a system player. He's been playing at this level consistently for the last 4 or 5 years, at the highest level. To label him as a system player is just a cheap shot, really, and has no valid reason in terms of justifying that opinion there. So yeah, 30th goal of the season. He's joint top with Trent Alexander-Arnold with 12 assists in the Premier League as well. So yeah, just a little blip in his season this season. I think people made a big deal out of him not scoring recently. All players go through dry patches. It's just one of those things. Obviously, he's had a very jam-packed 2022, playing for his country in the AFCON as well. Unfortunately, losing the final and then playing in the World Cup qualifiers with Senegal for 2 legs as well. So it's been emotionally draining for him. I'm sure this contract talk isn't really helping him right now as well. So yeah, it was only a matter of time that Salah was back on the score sheet and firing all cylinders. Regarding this game also, thoughts and prayers to Cristiano Ronaldo, his wife and family, who are going through a very tragic time right now, with the passing of their baby boy. Very class moment from the Liverpool fans applauding in the 7th minute, just to give our sort of thoughts and prayers and appreciation for the players. Well, I have to be honest, I have to point out one thing as well: shameful behaviour from some United fans who were singing about Hillsborough before and during the game. Excuse my language, but that's scum behaviour from the minority of fans there. In a moment like this, when you know one of your star players is going through something, and as Liverpool fans, we made sure that we showed our respect by applauding in the 7th minute to Cristiano Ronaldo's family, and then you've come to the ground and done stupid stuff like that. Yeah, it's disgusting behaviour, but we move on from that. Like I mentioned earlier on, in terms of United, very poor performance, and it's been highlighted by a lot of United fans, in fact, that it's probably one of their worst performances in a long time, and especially when it comes to these sort of encounters with Liverpool and Manchester United. Even when Liverpool weren't great, I'm talking about like Hodgson era, let's not think about it too much, but when we had a poor run of sort of seasons where we weren't competing for the highest honours, we still put in a shift against Manchester United, and we probably get the victory here and there as well. So yeah, I think with your team, you'd want to see a bit of fight from your players, and it was lacking in this fixture, to be honest with you. I've just got a few comments here. From Charlotte and the Maguire bomb threat too. Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. I know a few years ago, you may remember as well, with Wayne Rooney, where I think he didn't want to sign his contract, and maybe he was thinking of joining Man City, and then he was pretty much threatened as well. So yeah, there's no room for that behavior. I think that's just ludicrous in terms of why someone would even give that a threat to a player, just because things aren't going your way in terms of the team's performance. That doesn't justify ridiculous actions. It's just a criminal behavior that we shouldn't really be tolerating in this day and age. Terrible behavior, as you said. And big up Liverpool fans. Yeah, definitely big up Liverpool fans. Showed their class during the game. We all love football, but when it comes to our health and family, that's all that always comes first. So yeah, really nice moment from the Liverpool fans there. In terms of Manchester United, so they've recruited a new manager in Ten Hag. So I did speak about this a few weeks ago, but as it's official news, my thoughts on the appointment is it's a fantastic appointment. And even speaking as a Liverpool fan, I have to be honest, great appointment. That would have been my first choice if I was in that United board and thinking of who could we sign or recruit as our next manager. I think he has the credentials. Obviously, he's managed for a number of years in Holland before Ajax, and then he went over to be number 2 or one of the coaches for Pep in the Bayern Munich team, and obviously they've won a lot of trophies. And the Ajax team, he pretty much rejuvenated that team. They always seem to lose their star players. Probably credit to the way the club is set up. They have fantastic youngsters coming through their ranks, but he always manages to recruit the right players and keeps rebuilding as well. So that's probably a key asset in terms of his success in the last few years and will be helpful in terms of going forward for Manchester United. I already read today that he'll be given I think 200 million transfer budget. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any truth to that and what type of caliber or player he would recruit. Would he bring back Van der Beek? Probably. I think he was one of his star players for Ajax and knows how he plays, so he'll be a useful addition back to the team. I think there was Harry Kane. I'm not sure about Harry Kane. I would personally not sign him. Not saying he's not a good player or not. I think for United, I think the route is to kind of look at what Liverpool have done, for example, where you've recruited young players or players that are at a good age. So when I say good age, like mid-20s, and I've been playing at a good level, but on the verge of stepping up to that next level. So when we signed Mane, Salah, that was the same situation when they were on the verge of becoming really top players. So recruitment is going to be vital in terms of the future success. It's not going to happen overnight. It won't happen next season. It will take a good few years. So time and patience is required for Ten Hag. Will he get it? You'd hope so. As there's not many world-class managers out there in the world of football. So yeah. If you're a United fan, let me know what you think in terms of which players you'd like to see come through in the summer. We'll probably speak about it in more detail as the season unfolds. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Just got another comment here from Madison Smith. With ETH now officially in, what players are most likely out now? That's a good question as well. So on top of my head, I believe Cavani is on the verge of leaving. I think he only signed a year extension, so he'll be leaving the club. I saw him linked with, I think, Barcelona, Real Madrid. So that's a bit of a strange one. I don't think why he'd go there. Maybe as a backup player, but yeah, if that's his thing, why not? Lingard, I don't believe will be given a new contract. Ralph Ragnick pretty much confirmed it today that Pogba played his last game for Manchester United as he walked out injured against Liverpool. So yeah, so for me, Pogba is pretty much gone as well. Matic has announced it as well. So there'll be 4 or 5 players, I think, that have their contract expiring. So that's quite good for Manchester United in terms of not forcing any sales where players' contracts have expired and they can be replaced going forward. So yeah, I think the key for Manchester United this season will be to sign players that will be the spine of this team. So I think a centre-back is required 100%. A defensive midfielder is something they've been crying out for a very long time. So this is the year to get that sort of player. I would say striker, but I think Ronaldo's still there. Maybe a striker isn't needed right now, but I think the right side is a little bit weak, or they don't have a sort of a first team star in that right-hand side. So I know a lot of United fans have said Anthony from Ajax, he'd be a fantastic signing, but obviously it's an easier sort of signing to predict because it's from Ajax and that's where Ten Hag is coming from. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think there will be a few players shifted as well. So I think Mata is one of the players as well, actually, that has his contract expiring. So which is it's kind of similar to Crystal Palace last summer, where they had a lot of players contract expiring, and they were able to rebuild and bring some young players in as well. So obviously Manchester United are a different caliber of a club, but that is probably something that they can look into and be like, look, we can do what Palace did last year, and they've had a fantastic season so far. So yeah, I think it'll be very interesting summer for United fans. A lot of stories will be coming through, I'm sure, with all types of players linked. But yeah, very, very interesting to see how that goes. A comment here from Charlotte. First time watching, I've got to shoot, unfortunately, but I'll tune in again. You really know your stuff. Looking forward to watching the channel grow. Thank you very much, Charlotte. Appreciate your lovely comment and support there. So on to the next game. Southampton versus Arsenal. So this was the surprise result of the week that I was speaking about earlier on. I won't speak in too much detail as Arsenal played for a second time, but this was definitely a shocking result. Bednarak with the winner, left-footed finish. Ramsdale maybe could have done better. Did get a hand to it, but as it was close distance, maybe the power was too much for him to save. Arteta, for me, got the tactics completely wrong, and the team just wasn't set up correctly. So that was the reason why they lost that game, unfortunately. However, they were able to rectify that loss with a fantastic win against Chelsea, and surprising result in terms of the scoreline. And I have to be honest, Arsenal deserved this win. I thought they played fantastically. Before the game, I spoke to a few Arsenal and Chelsea fans, and I pretty much said I can't even see Arsenal scoring, or if they do, they'll get that late consolation goal. And I think I predicted 2-1. But Chelsea were just awful defensively. Malang Sarr didn't have the best of games at all. First goal was pretty much gifted to Nketiah, who also scored the second goal during the game. But, let's give our credit and plaudits to Nketiah. I don't think he's highly regarded amongst Arsenal fans. And in my opinion, especially if there are not many recognised strikers in that squad, he probably should have been given more starts or more opportunities to play this season. So he definitely answered some critics with his performance there, scoring 2 goals. And it wasn't just the goals, his overall gameplay was really good. Definitely made his sort of presence felt up front. In terms of the game itself, goals from Smith Rowe and a late penalty from Saka. So Azpilicueta, he certainly had an interesting evening where he scored a great goal, pretty much like a striker's instinct, fantastic tap in there, conceded a penalty, and then had an argument with a fan after the game. So yeah, he was certainly rattled at full time there. In regards to the penalty, I can see both sides of the argument, but I think it was the right decision. I think the initial intent from Azpilicueta was to drag Saka down or try to body check him so he doesn't go past him to get the end of the cross from the right-hand side. But you can also see Saka holding onto his hand or his forearm as he was attacking the 6-yard box. So it could have gone either way, but you can see the intent from Azpilicueta in trying to take Saka down. So yeah, right decision. Scoreline, some people might say that it's not a true reflection of the game, but I feel like it was well deserved regardless. So great win for Arsenal. Puts them back in the driving seat for 4th, in my opinion. But there's been lots of twists and turns already with this top 4 race. Like no one wants to claim it this season. So yeah, very, very interesting how the season is unfolding for that 4th spot right now. Another comment here from Madison Smith. I appreciate what Laka has done, but I think Ozzie is the player to start moving forward just on his athleticism alone. Eddie is not the perfect player, but he can at least run. It's an interesting point because Aubameyang was sold earlier this year in January. So obviously that's a vacant space. And with Lacazette pretty much on the verge of leaving, I think he's gone on to even say that he's got European clubs after him. So I'm intrigued to see who those European clubs are, because based on his form for the last few years, if I was the top side, I wouldn't be going for a player like Lacazette at this stage, to be honest with you. Nketiah's contract is about to expire, so I'm not sure in terms of how that is going on. Are they planning to extend the contract with him or not? But I think you make a very valid point. I would keep him, and I would sign a quality striker so he can play either alongside him or play as, not, I don't want to say backup, but pretty much from the bench or in rotation with the forward. You know, if Arsenal are to get Champions League football or even Europa League football, they're going to play more games. So the squad will be used more so than this season. Obviously, with no European football, it's easier to kind of set your team up on a basis where you're only playing once a week. So I think Eddie Nketiah it would be worth signing him, but from what I've heard, I don't think he wants to stay at the club. He feels like his first team opportunities are limited. So it looks like Arsenal will probably need to sign at least a couple of strikers in the summer. So let me know your thoughts in terms of who that sort of striker would be. I've already seen a few names coming out, so interested to see what you think about who Arsenal should target in the summer. On to the next game, North London team here, Tottenham versus Brighton. I think Brighton are Tottenham's bogey team because, they just never seem to get the win against them. And it was another surprising result, considering both of the teams, Arsenal and Tottenham, were playing at the same time. You would have just thought that maybe one would have the bite or the edge to get the point, with so much riding for that fourth spot right now. In terms of the result, I don't think it'll have a huge impact in top four with Spurs' top four challenge, but it remains to be seen. This might be the moment where they're like, we missed out or we dropped points where we shouldn't have. So the winning goal itself was a fantastic finish by Trossard with the outside of his right foot. I guess he loves to score against North London teams because he scored last week against Arsenal and then he scored against Tottenham as well. So in regards to Tottenham, still a lot to play for, in my opinion. Slight setback in terms of their top four challenge, but they've been in great form recently. So hopefully they can pick that up and move forward and get the victory this weekend. So we'll see how that goes for Tottenham. And the final game of match week 33 is Man City versus Brighton. So Brighton played 2 games in match week 33. Unfortunately, they were not able to capitalize with a second win, which I'm sure Liverpool fans were rooting for, or at least for Brighton to get a draw. But nevertheless, a routine win for the current champions. Man City weren't able to break down the Brighton team in the first half. They had a few shots on target, but second half, that's where they were able to press more and open the scoreline. Mahrez scored the first goal. Regarding Riyad Mahrez, I feel like he should be starting a lot more games. Whenever I've seen him play, I'm always impressed in terms of how he plays. He just adds a different dimension to that Man City team, and he always scores goals. So the last game that he played was against Liverpool in the FA Cup semi-final. He came on around the 80th minute, I believe. So had he come on a bit early in that fixture, I genuinely feel like he could have had a bigger impact in that tie. And who knows, they might have even gone to extra time, and the rest, we'll never know. But it could have changed the outcome of the game altogether. So interesting one. I do feel like he deserves to play more. He should be starting more games, in my opinion. But Pep has his tactics. Pep has his way of playing. So maybe he feels like he's a better player coming off the bench and being that impact player, which he has done in the past, to be fair. But back to the game. Foden scores the second goal of the game with a deflected shot, and Silva wraps up the game with a cracker to make it 3-0. So no surprise in terms of the win for Man City there. But yeah, Liverpool fans were really hoping for Brighton to help us there, but it wasn't to be. But we'll see how the next match week continues there. So that's my match week 33 review. I will now present my team of the week. So here is the artwork for you guys. There we go. So this is my team selection. I've gone for Pope in goal. I was really impressed with his performance against West Ham. I know Burnley got the win yesterday as well, so that was very important in terms of their season. But he made some crucial saves against West Ham. Another honourable mention will probably be Foster for Southampton. He wasn't on a winning side, but he's made some big saves as well. I think his contract expiring, so he may be fighting for his future there. So that's why he's coming up with these stellar performances. But nevertheless, I've gone for Pope for this one. Matt Target, I feel like he had a great game for Newcastle. 2 wins for Newcastle in match week 33. So, yep, they're definitely on the rise right now. Bednarek for getting a winner against Arsenal, left footed shot. So that's what I've got him there. Jansen as well, he's been in great form on the score sheet for Brentford. And Brentford have been in great form recently. So it's definitely a reflection of the team's current form right now. Connor Roberts, who was on the score sheet for Burnley yesterday, so that's why I've got him in the lineup there. Midfield 3, Susek had a solid performance for West Ham, scoring the equaliser there. Guimaraes, for me, was fantastic in the first game for Newcastle in match week 33, scoring 2 goals. Really classy player, great signing for Newcastle. Has that different sort of spark in that team. Brings a bit of flair in that midfield as well. So definitely a player that I feel like will blossom even more next season. Maybe playing with more top players or players of his caliber in the team. So that's another daunting aspect for the upcoming season as well. And Thiago, phenomenal performance. So I've spoken lyrical about him quite enough. So you know what my views are about Thiago. Front 3, I've gone for Ronaldo, who scored the hat-trick against Norwich. Mane, for me, fantastic performance against Manchester United. And Salah, start of the week with his brace as well. So yeah, that's my team of the week there. So before we wrap up the show, I will present the FPL Manager of the Week. So let me have a look at my performance. What did I get? I got 55, so not great, but never mind. It's one of those ones we just move on. But one person in the league had a fantastic week, and that's a good friend of mine, Nathan Surant, who scored 101 points, so pretty much nearly double my score. So well done to Nathan. The good selection in your teams there. So I might have to take some pointers for next week, or next match week, I should say, which is taking place from tomorrow. And speaking of the new match week, we'll do a quick prediction of match week 34. We'll do a preview and prediction segment now. So let me share my screen with you guys, and then we can go through the fixtures. I think it'll be a longer week as well. So I think the last fixture of match week 32 will be next Thursday. So oops, that's not the graphic that I'm looking for. Here we go. That's the one I'm looking for. So yes, we can quickly have a look through now. So the first game itself, Arsenal versus Manchester United. So a match that actually has quite a bit of importance due to the fact that Manchester United were able to get that win last week against Norwich. So it definitely has a part to play in terms of the top 4 race. If United win this game, that puts them back in the mix as well, despite playing the game extra. But due to the defeat against Liverpool, I think they're pretty much a wounded animal right now, and I think Arsenal will be victorious in this game. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Arsenal there. Leicester City versus Aston Villa. I think this one's got a draw written over it, so I'll go for 1-1 there. Man City versus Watford. I don't see anything but a Man City win there, unfortunately. So I'm going to go for 4-0 for Man City there. Norwich against Newcastle. I think Newcastle have been great form recently, so I think they'll have the edge here. I will go for a 2-0 victory for Newcastle for that fixture. Brentford versus Tottenham. So this is an interesting one. Brentford have been in great form recently with a number of consistent wins, and their home form has been fantastic this year as well. So I'm going for a 1-0 win for Brentford. So that will be my surprise result of the week. The next one is Burnley versus Wolves. I think for Burnley Wolves, it's not a game that screams out a lot of goals to me, so I'll go for a 1-0 win for Wolves. Excuse me. Chelsea West Ham. Ooh, that's a big one. I will go for a Chelsea win. And I think it will be 1-0. Brighton Southampton. 1-1. I think this will be. And then the Merseyside derby, Liverpool and Everton. I don't see anything but victory here, so I'm going for a 3-0. And the final fixture is Crystal Palace versus Leeds United. I'm going to go for a Palace win, and it will be 2-1 to Palace. I think there is another fixture. So yes, another big fixture for United. Well, they don't have an easy match week 34. They're playing Arsenal first, and then they've got Chelsea right after. So I think the outcome of the first game will play a part. I'm going to go for a draw. I think it'll be 1-1. I don't think there'll be too many goals in this game, but both teams aren't in the best of forms, so I'm going to go for a draw. So it'll be a 1-1 result for that fixture. And that concludes our show for today. So thank you for everyone tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Don't forget to hit the notification bell as well. You'll be notified of any new content coming up. And speaking of content, I host a show on my profile on Instagram, which is called Talk That Talk. So it's a platform for you guys to come on, have your say. If you're a United fan, feel free to come on, tell me how you feel about Ten Hag and who you'd want to sign. As we're concluding the season, transfer rumours are going to be flying around. So I know fans are already thinking about next summer in terms of what players they'd like to see come into their club. So always an interesting talking point amongst football fans. So yes, please tune in Monday, 10:30 p.m. UK time. And then the scheduled episode will be next Friday, 29th of April at 10:30 p.m. So I'll do a full analysis of all the big games that have taken place in match week 34. And I'll also do a preview and a prediction segment for match week 35 as well. So yes, thank you again. Take care of yourself, and I hope to see you all very soon. Good night.